in every case I can think of, having an exotic weapon that can naturally take care of a champion for you is never a bad thing. Like, it gives you flexibility on your builds, just not having to have that mod like wasted on just a random champion for some end game content that you're doing, like, can be a great thing. It's usually a great thing, right? So the new revision 0 exotic comes with an intrinsic anti-barrier. So I just want to take a look at that and just talk about a few options you can do when you're doing your build. Obviously this is just for PvE, because revision 0, again, I'm getting killed a lot by it in Crucible, so it definitely I think it's a PvP weapon as well, but this is just talking about PvE. So when we look at it here, let's just call this its like natural form, even though it does have Feeding Frenzy on here, but just for base value's sake, let's just call this natural form. It does come with 4 catalysts. 2 are available right now at the time of making this video, but there's 2 more that are coming. But let's just take a look at just the base value when dealing with barrier champions, since this video will be about how this weapon does against barrier champions, because it's one of the reasons it's built. It's what it's made for, right? All right, so taking a look at this. On Master Difficulty Nightfall, we can see here, let's wait for him to pop his shield. It's going to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bursts. For body shots, non-crit, 5 non-crit shots to bust the barrier shield. Okay, nothing impressive yet for crits. 2, 3 crit shots to do. I know there was a few misses there, but it's 3 crits. Now, this one can turn into a sniper, right? So, there we go. 1 crit to bust the shield. So that's actually great, because whenever there's an anti-barrier sniper mod, it costs 6 usually, and so not having to pay for that, that's awesome when you're doing your builds. So there we go. So 1 crit from the sniper round to bust its shield, and that's just on its base setting. So now using the sniper setting for a non-crit shot on the barrier, let's see, 1 doesn't bust the shield. So 1 isn't quite enough. It's almost enough, but not quite enough on Master Difficulty to bust a barrier shield. So that's important too, I think, because there's some barriers where they're crits when they're have their shield up. Like, it's a tough hit, like especially when you're using a controller like I do, like a Hobgoblin for example. Their crits pretty small and tough to hit when you're on the go, when there's other ads shooting at you. Now, Revision 0 is a 4 burst that you've seen here previously, but also you have the option to change it to a 2 burst pulse rifle, where it does more damage, but there's less in the clip and so forth. So seeing if that makes any difference or which one's better, we can see here that it takes 1, 2, 3, 4 bursts, 4 crits to bust the barrier shield using the 2 burst mode. So that's compared to 3 with the 4 burst. It's 4 with the 2 burst. So, I mean, 8 bullets compared to 12 bullets. I mean, it's kind of, I don't know if there's much difference there. I think, honestly, for either 2 bursts or 3 bursts, it's going to be up to you, whatever you are more comfortable playing with, honestly. I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference. I like 4 bursts personally, just because, especially when you're clearing out ads, janks, or anything like that, just the 4 burst works a lot better for me. I'm on controller. So having the flexibility to miss a few shots in the burst, that's great. Plus the bigger clip size with the 4 burst, that's good too. So that's just me though. Up to you for that part. I wouldn't pick. Now, if you're curious whether 2 burst or 4 burst makes any difference on sniper mode, it does not. It still takes 2 shots to pop their bubble on a non-crit hit. So that's on the base model of Revision 0. So as you upgrade this weapon though, you got a few options on your build that can make it more effective against champions specifically. So as we see here, we have armor piercing rounds that you could put on here. So that'll give you an extra 5% when popping a barrier bubble. And then you can also put on vorpal weapon, which will give you an extra 20%, I believe it is, against champions like barriers. So taking a look at that, you can see here now for 4 burst mode that it takes 1, 2 crits to pop their shield. So it was 3 before, now it's 2. So that's like, it's a pretty big improvement, I'd say, right? So two crits to pop a bubble now with the 4 burst mode. And now if we look at body shots, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 hits instead of the 5 to pop their bubble. So that's pretty decent improvement, right? So between 30-20% increase, which is what it should be, because you get 5% from the armor piercing and 20% from the vorpal. So let's call it 25%. Now, when it comes to sniper mode, right? So the single crit is still going to pop his bubble, of course. Why wouldn't it, right? But when we look at the body shots here, see, we can pop his bubble with 1 non-crit shot. So again, that's a big improvement, especially like when it comes to sniper rounds. And again, keep in mind that this is a free, like it's not going to cost you like 6 energy on your arm slot when you're doing your builds when anti-barrier snipers in season, right? So now, just talking about exotics here, yeah, Revision Zero might not be the best out there for barriers, right? But I think it definitely has a place in in-game content, depending on what your playstyle is or what your build might be. So obviously Arbalast is still king, right? Being able to one-hit anything at any time and also take care of any shield at any time. Great, right? I'm not disputing that or anything, but maybe you're running something where it's unstoppable and barrier. You want to use a special for unstoppable. You don't feel like running double specials. You know, some people like that, some people don't. So you put on, so maybe you want to use Revision Zero for that situation because you still want the flexibility of having a sniper and being able to one-shot champions. Wishender, yeah, Wishender does one-shot champions as well, and it is a primary, but it's a bow. Some people don't love bows. Some people would like kind of the speed maybe of a pulse rifle for dealing with normal ads, and then also being able to take out champions with it. Especially one thing I noticed in grandmasters, so if you're not ready or you're not situated when he pops his bubble in a grandmaster and you're using Wishender, he's going to regenerate some health there. Just things to keep in mind, but at the end of the day, when it comes to Wishender or Revision Zero, I think it just depends on what you're comfy with or what you're going to have more fun with, right? Now, the only selling point, I think, for me for Revision Zero is just the ability to put it into sniper mode. Otherwise, if it's just going off pulses, honestly, I'd rather just use one with adaptive munitions this season anyways, for sure. Now, other seasons, maybe where that's not an option depending on what the mods are. But if you notice the gameplay here, you know, I've been running Insidious for the last minute here with adaptive munitions, and it's fine. It 2-bursts them, no problem on Master. And it's Arc with this Grandmaster, or with this Master being a Void Burn, and it's still, like, works great. So when it just comes to pulses, Revision Zero is probably a no for me. It's just the fact that it can turn into a sniper and one-shot them if I'm able to, or if the opportunity arises. It's really the only reason where I might consider it in endgame content anyways. So it's not bad. It's not bad, I don't think. Maybe I'll use it, maybe I won't, but yeah, something to keep in mind. Anyways, alright, that's it.